Hi, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. My name is Megan, and I'm also known as Nightingale Tarot. I'm a certified nurse midwife by day and often by night, who also happens to be a tarot master. I've been reading tarot for about 26 years as of 2024, and I've been teaching tarot for about the past 5 years. I also read Lenormand and regular playing cards, as well as runes, bones, oracles, so let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing any of those other things for my videos in addition to tarot. You can find me in all the places by following the link tree in the description box below the video. That's where you'll learn how to contact me, as well as learn more about my services. You'll learn how to book several different types of private readings for yourself, or also malocchio, also known as evil eye removal. Most of my readings and services are virtual, via Zoom, phone, or sometimes even email, so you don't have to be living in Honolulu in order to get a reading from me. I love to read your comments, I love to answer your questions, and I love to engage with you here, so don't be shy with your comments, and don't hesitate to drop a request in that comment box if there's a specific topic you'd like to see me read on for you. If you like what you see, I greatly appreciate a quick click of the like and subscribe button from you. Don't forget to turn on notifications if you want to make sure you don't ever miss any new content. For today's reading, the 3 decks I'll be using are the New Orleans Tarot Cats deck from Love Day Funk, the Age of Witchery Tarot deck by Roger J. Horn, and the Last Unicorn Tarot deck by a group of artists who call themselves Geekify. Today's topic is how I see myself versus how others see me. It's kind of a big deal, right? Do they match? Are you projecting something that maybe you don't want to project? Perhaps you're lacking confidence and you think other people can pick up on that, but actually people think you're super confident and awesome. If you are wondering how other people see you in comparison to how you see yourself, this is the reading for you. So keep in mind that these are general readings. Each pile is for many people at once. So take what resonates with you and leave behind what doesn't, because that message is likely for someone else. Don't worry, you'll have at least one really clear, direct message just for you here today, I promise. Don't forget to follow the link tree in the description below to book a private and much deeper reading with me that's entirely specific to you and your situation on this or really any other topic you'd like to look at with me if you feel like that's something you want to do. So what do you do now? Now you need to think of your specific situation regarding today's topic, what questions you'd like answered today, and pick a pile. This is pile 1, the New Orleans Tarot Cats with Saint Philomena. She's a well-known folk saint in the New Orleans area. Actually, Marie Laveau had a daughter that she named Philomena after her. Pile 2 is the Age of Witchery Tarot deck, and with that deck is the triple hagstone. Pile number 3 is the Last Unicorn deck with the skeleton key. If you need a little time to do this, you can pause the video here, but don't overthink it. Take a deep breath, go with your gut. Your first instinct is usually best. Which pile are you most drawn to today? Keep in mind, if you come back and watch this video on a different day, or even rewatch it today with a different situation or a different question in mind, you might be drawn to choose a different pile at that time. To skip the video straight to the pile you chose, you'll find the timestamps in the description below, and you can click and it'll take you there. Let's get started with pile 1. Okay, pile 1. Let's see what the New Orleans Tarot Cats have to say to you today. This is a super cool deck. I found it at a little bookstore in Baton Rouge when I was back home visiting my family a couple of years ago. Great little one-off indie deck. I've never seen it anywhere else except for in that little bookstore that one time. So I'm really glad I bought it because it's a really neat deck. Okay. First, let's talk about how you see yourself. You see yourself as very loving, generous, popular, well-liked, which I love. There is a confidence that you have about you that I think you probably hope that other people can see this. I think you like being popular. You like being the life of the party. You like that persona that you have that's probably real. I don't think it's just a persona, that you're capable of getting things done. You see yourself as very capable. You see yourself as leadership material. You feel good about your ability to stand up in front of a crowd and be noticed and be liked and be, I guess, like a performer. You see yourself as like a performer, like, in front of a crowd is a comfortable place for you. You see yourself as successful. You see yourself as others can look up to. I think you are someone others can look up to. And I think you know that about yourself. And I think that's great. So let's look at how others see you. Others see you as very kind and very loving and very generous, very able to connect with other people in a deep and meaningful way. So people trust you. You have a very giving heart. You have a very, it's just, there's not deception here. There's not like, an edge to you or anything like that. You're well liked and you're popular and people trust you and they look up to you. So I think the way that people see you is very similar to the way you see yourself. Another important aspect that people notice whenever they encounter you is that you are willing to stand up for what's right, even when it's not popular. That's a really important part of why others are drawn to you, because there's this sort of sense of integrity that I'm not even sure you fully recognize in yourself, but other people look at you and say, yeah, this is someone who, if there's an issue and I need someone to really fight the good fight with me, I need a ride or die, I need someone who is loyal, and even when things are crappy and the whole crowd is out with, torches and pitchforks, this person will stand up with me and not fold and really stand up for what is right and what they believe in. That's what people think of you. So this is like, pile one, you who chose this pile, like, good for you. Now, I think that along with this whole, propensity towards leadership, this standing up for what is right, this integrity, this kind, loving, generous heart, the warning here is to be very careful not to take those qualities for granted in yourself and to not allow people to take advantage of you. Because people that have this, I'll be your ride or die, I'm loyal no matter what, I've got this open, loving, giving heart and people trust me, also tend to attract people who really take that for granted. So I think that's the warning here whenever we're looking at the overview of this, is don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. Don't allow the giving and the openness to be such a default in you that you get underappreciated, because that can happen. Sometimes people, sometimes don't realize what they have until it's gone. And it's very likely that you have entered into relationships in your life where people just always assumed that you were going to be there for them no matter what, even if they treated you like crap. There was a real, I'm taking you for granted sort of vibe, and you likely got hurt. And so there's a warning there to be kind, be loving, be generous, be open, be the ride or die, step into your leadership, step into your ability to get up in front of a crowd and be inspirational. And do not ever let people take you for granted, and do not ever let people underestimate the value of those qualities in you. So pile 1, that is your reading. Now we're going to move on to pile 2. And pile 2, the Age of Witchery deck, with that triple hagstone that I found in a tide pool on the beach here on Oahu. And I was super excited to find it. I was also super excited to find this deck, the Age of Witchery Tarot deck by Roger J. Horn. I have his books. His books are awesome. He's a folklorist who has a specialty in witchcraft and cartomancy, and he kind of sneaky just put a deck out without really telling anyone. And I just happened to find it. I think it showed up maybe on my Instagram feed one day, and I could not even click buy fast enough. I was so excited about this deck. This deck uses old drawings of woodcuts from the Salem witch trial era. They would put out propaganda about witches and how to find witches and what to do with them when you found them. You probably have seen these old, kind of newsletters and things that went out around this time during the witch hunts. And this is the imagery from them, which I think is just really cool. For those of you who are readers and who notice things like this is a Marseille style deck, meaning that the minors in the deck are just the items there. They're not illustrated. And I'll show you when we get to the next deck, if you want to watch through to pile 3, what I mean by that. Not everyone reads Marseille style tarot, but I do, and I really like it. And I thought it was a bold choice of him to make this deck like that. All right, pile 2, let's get into you. So I see that you view yourself as how can I say this? I'm trying to think of an eloquent way to say this without sounding horrible. You have horrible self-talk when it comes to yourself. There is a poverty mindset within you about what you have to offer. You feel like you just don't have a lot to offer. And because of that, you speak harshly to yourself. And that's so upsetting. It's so upsetting when I read for clients that I can feel this about them. And I have lots of clients that have this really negative sort of loop of self-talk and have this, it's like a victim mentality. It's like, I can't catch a break. My finances are crappy. My job sucks. It's because I'm dumb, or because I did this, or because I did that. There's a lot of self-blame. And I don't feel like you view yourself very highly. I feel like you just really have some, unfortunately, quite low self-esteem that's kind of keeping you trapped in this sort of victim mindset. I don't really know how else to say it. I mean, I can only say it 150 different ways, right? Okay, let's look at how other people see you. Other people also believe that it is your own negative mindset and your own negative self-talk and your own belief that you are a victim that actually is holding you in that state. Now, pile 2 people, this is a big reading. This is like, file this under the category of I'm telling you things that you might not want to hear. But I never pretend to be a sugarcoat reader. I'm always going to tell you 100% what I see, even when it's really uncomfortable. And this is an uncomfortable reading. And you may be very uncomfortable listening to it right now. But this is important, because if you're looking at the law of attraction and you're looking at manifesting abundance to yourself, and you are constantly telling yourself that you're not worthy of those things, that you can't catch a break no matter what. Like every time you get in the car to leave, you're like, oh, traffic is going to be horrible. Or, I would go do this, but it's just going to suck. You're really continuing to attract those things. You're kind of like the Eeyore of your friend group, if that, makes sense to you. It's like that. And this is what you believe in yourself. And other people are aware that you believe this about yourself. And so now they come to expect this from you too. So the expectation from other people when they look at you is also, oh, she's in this crappy situation, or he's in this crappy situation and never going to get out because, just won't do anything different. It's a real feeling of other people viewing you as trapped in your situation because you will not allow yourself to see yourself any other way, I think is the best way that I can put it. And then when we look at, okay, what do I do about this? How do I work on this? The card that I have out in this deck, I don't know if you can see it, it's the Pope, which really is, in other decks, the Hierophant, and really is about getting expert help, learning from someone who has done it before you, who can teach you how to do this. This is most likely a therapist or a very trusted friend who could help you turn this mindset over, who is like an expert in this field. I am hesitant to say like, oh, just go to a friend and ask for advice, because friends can sometimes give you really crappy advice. So this needs to be you looking at some expert guidance on how you can flip this script and stop this negative self-talk, stop this victim mindset, and free yourself from where you've trapped yourself. That was a heavy reading, pile 2, but that's what I see. And so that's what I'm saying. I hope you were able to receive that, and that you can have an abundant life and get yourself out of that circular mindset that you're in now. Okay. Let's hope pile 3 is not quite so heavy. Pile 1 was great. We were off to a great start for those of you who chose pile 1, but we're pile 2 people. Okay. All right, pile 3. Coming in with pile 3, the last unicorn deck and the skeleton key. See what we have to say for you today. Skeleton key is known to open doors, right? Energetic doors. That's why we keep them around. Every time I read with this deck, I have to resist the urge to sing the music from the last unicorn because I've only seen it 73 million times in my life. It was one of my favorites growing up, so I was super excited when this deck came out. I had it on pre-order for probably a year before it finally came in, and I was so excited. I was so excited. And it's a great deck for me to read with because I've seen the movie so many times. The imagery is so incredibly familiar to me that I feel like I can interpret these cards just like boom, like that, just super quick and easy. So I hope you'll like it too. Okay, pile 3. Let's talk about how you see yourself first. Firstly, you see yourself as, okay, how do I put it into words? You're like a knight in shining armor. You constantly need to be working on something, fixing something, teaching someone how to do better. It's, you kind of have, I don't want to call it a savior complex because that makes it sound negative, and it's not negative at all, but it's a kind of mindset that you need to be actively doing something to help someone else, or else you get very, very bored and very dissatisfied. I also believe that whenever you have done a big, like I rush in and I help someone and I save the day, and they don't really fully appreciate that, I think that that is very upsetting to you. And it's easy for you to feel undervalued and underappreciated when people don't really sort of lift you up and acknowledge what you've done. So that's something that you might need to be aware of in yourself, that you are constantly striving for a way to do better, be better, and you want other people to look at your way of doing it, and you believe that they can also do better and be better by following your advice. And when people don't want to hear your advice, you get pretty butthurt over that, which is fine. I do the same thing. People come to me for a tarot reading. I tell them something they don't want to hear, and then they get mad at me. And I'm like, well, the hell are you paying me for? Like this, you came to learn the truth, but yet you don't want to hear the truth. So I get it. I get this. But that's how you see yourself. You see yourself as really being able to help and having good advice and being able to just get in there and do whatever needs to be done. Now let's look at how other people see you. This is interesting here because other people are looking at you and this feels like, once again, struggling to figure out how to word this. They feel like you sometimes represent your skill set or what you have. You over-represent that a little bit. There's almost a little bit of a like, I got to keep up with the Joneses sort of vibe when other people look at you. They don't always believe you are as successful as your outward appearances. Not that they think you're being deceptive, because it's not deceptive, but it's just, is he or she really as happy as he or she appears? They're looking at you and they're saying, does he really have all that stuff? Is everything really wonderful and perfect? Or is this just a front? Like, is he telling us what to do and how to do it better simply because he's projecting onto us? That's kind of the vibe. And you should be aware of that. And often what that is actually a little bit of jealousy. And that is kind of what I see for you whenever I get to this final card here. There's a little bit of envy towards you, possibly even from people that are your friends and that are close to you. And I think because of that envy and that maybe dissatisfaction with themselves and their own situation, they're actually the ones projecting onto you. They're unhappy with themselves, so therefore they assume that you are also unhappy, and so putting a veneer or a front of I have it all together, kind of energy out there. Honestly, I do think you probably have it all together. And I think that you are really good at what you do, and you likely are very successful. I think it's a little unfortunate that you do feel the need to prove that all the time, because I can see that in you, that you do need to prove how valuable you are, and prove how successful you are, and prove how worthy you are. And that gets, a little tiresome to people, because they're like, oh God, this person really has something to prove all the time. And, it ain't all that great, but why do you have to prove your success? Why do you have to rub it in all the time? So, for what it's worth, be something to be aware. Haters are going to hate, right? Haters going to hate. And I think you have garnered some haters along the way with the fact that you are successful and that you are always the first one to rush in and get something done whenever something needs to be done. People are like, oh my God, here he is again, here she is again. And that's okay. You can keep on living your life being successful and ignore the haters. Or on the flip side, if you wanted to, I guess you could, tone it down a little bit and not feel the need to have other people be as successful as you. Because I think that's the crux of it, right? Is that when we're really good at something, or we have found a solution to something that we know can help other people, it's so hard not to give that to people. And sometimes it's unsolicited. And I think you should just be aware of your tendency to believe that if everyone did it like you, the world would be a better place, I think maybe is where I'm going with that. So that's it, Pile 3. That's how you see yourself versus how other people see you, and some things to be aware of. I hope that helps you out.